Good morning all and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much to all of my brand new subscribers and followers across all of my social media platforms. I'm going to put them all below if you want to keep in touch with my daily Facebook lives, my daily videos. Trust me, I am literally like a rash at the moment. I am all over the place. Please do go and follow me on all of my channels and you can keep up to date with the latest information that is coming through to me energetically, and also I'm very blessed to be having information shared via Intel as well these days, which is absolutely awesome. So you don't just need to believe me and my woo, you can hear the facts as well. So today what I want to talk to you about is healing. Now, there are so many of us living on the planet right now, and please do comment below if you have got something going on in your life, whether that be a physical issue, a spiritual issue, a mental issue, an emotional issue that you know that you've got to heal. And that is what I want to talk about today. Approximately 2 years ago, I almost lost my life. I was hemorrhaging pretty badly because I had tumours in the womb, and basically it got out of control, and I lost about 3.5 pints of blood in 48 hours whilst I was speaking at a speaking gig that I was doing. Now, it was during that time that I was fearful. First and foremost, let's be honest, I was fearful. My body had been slowing down over the previous weeks. However, I'd been to the doctor, I'd been to the hospital, and please do not think that I'm putting them down at all. This is divine alignment. This was divine timing. I had to go through this in my life, and I'm very grateful to it. So what happened in the weeks preceding, I'd been going to the doctors a lot because every time I'd walk upstairs, and as a super fit girl, this shouldn't be happening. It was like my legs were being burnt. It was like they had a blowtorch on my muscles and the bones. So, it wasn't normal. It wasn't normal to be doing that, okay? So if you are experiencing anything like that, please get to your doctor. On top of that, like I say, I was hemorrhaging, I was losing a lot of blood. However, on the Monday of this particular week, I actually went to A&E because I was fearful. I was fearful that I was losing so much blood that I was going to get very sick, and they ran some blood tests on me, and although I was losing a lot of blood, they said to me, oh, you've got an appointment in November, so we'll just see you then. Now, this was in September, 2 years ago, like the start of September, so who am I to question? Who am I to question the doctors and nurses? So I just thought, okay, it's okay. I'm just going to go on my journey, and I'll go and do my public speaking. I was flying to Sydney on the Sunday, so I just kind of left it. Anyway, whilst I was speaking on this social media summit, I basically lost 3.5 pints of blood over 48 hours. And what happened on the second day where I was speaking is I lost my voice. Now, to a lot of you, you'll be like, what's the big deal about losing your voice? Well, I used to lose my voice every single month without fail. I used to get tonsillitis, chest infections, laryngitis, bronchitis, all bugs, all infections in this area. And obviously now I do the energetic work on it. I know that I wasn't speaking my truth. I know that I wasn't living in congruent to the person that I really wanted to be. And your body communicates with you. And I'm going to go into that a little bit more later. So I had all of these light bulbs going off, letting me know, Lucy, this is not normal. I'm there, I'm speaking my journey, I'm helping all of these people with their businesses, and there I am losing my voice. Now, I knew my voice was being taken to get my attention, because if I'd continued for everything to be working as it should be, I wouldn't have got worried about the amount of blood loss, although I was very upset at how much I was losing. Not that the people there would know, literally behind closed doors, I was just crying my eyes out about it. And so although I was scared, and although I had fear and I was nervous, to the outside world, they didn't know it. So my body had to give me a sign to show me it was really important, that I had to do something about it. So what happened? They took my voice whilst I'm mid public speaking. So that evening I called my doctor. I'll never forget it. I jumped in my car to drive home, and I called the doctor and I said, I need to see you urgently. And the next day they called me in and they ran blood tests. And I'm going to be honest with you, I thought nothing about it. I thought I was just going to get pushed to one side again and told November, like, stop being a drama queen. And I was exhausted that day. I literally went home after the doctors and I laid down in my bed and I was just exhausted. Now, this is the girl that, you know, fights professional Muay Thai, runs 15 kilometers every day, as it goes to the gym, you name it. Like, I'm super fit. And there I was, laid in my bed, literally feeling sorry for myself, wondering why every time I stood up I was dizzy, wondering why, you know, like I was hemorrhaging and losing so much blood. Anyway, on the Friday, I'll never forget it. It was 5 p.m. in the evening in the UK. I was doing a Facebook Live into what is now Self Love Club with Lucy Davis, my free group on Facebook. Again, I'll pop the link below. So I'm in there doing a Facebook Live and my doctor starts ringing. And I thought, I'm mid-Facebook Live, I'm just going to ignore it. And it kept ringing and I was like, I'll call him when I get back from Sydney. I'm going to Sydney in a couple of days, don't worry about it. Anyway, then something kicked in me and I answered the phone, and the partner of the doctor's surgery said to me, Lucy, you've got two options. You either get yourself to A&E as quickly as possible or I'm sending an ambulance to collect you. Shock. Now, for those of you who know me, for many, many years preceding that, I started my healing journey about 7 years ago, and leading up to, so after the initial year, I had 4 years where I would avoid the doctor. Literally, I would avoid. I got my diet on point, I got my nutrition, I got my physical on point, and I just had no sickness. So I went from having monthly infections and monthly antibiotics and monthly colonoscopies and endoscopies for my chronic digestive issues. I had, you know, monthly appointments for my hormones and everything, to literally nothing by making a couple of tiny little lifestyle tweaks. So here I am avoiding the doctors. My doctor said when I called him in August to let him know the tumours were back, he said, like, you've been avoiding us, Lucy. You know, we need to get you in. We need to do some tests on you. And the God's honest truth was I had been avoiding them because I felt that I didn't need them. So for me to have to go humbly to the doctors and ask them for their opinion and get their help really was a beautiful experience, and an experience, like I say, that was divine alignment and had to take place, because I had got to the point where I was like, no, medical, no, not going to go there. But actually, the medical profession 2 years ago saved my life. I was rushed into hospital, like I said, and basically I had to have a multiple blood transfusion. And, you know, for somebody like myself who's got a relatively rare blood type, I'm A negative, it's a bit of a scary thing. I mean, it's a scary thing for anybody, but when you've got a relatively rare blood type, like I was always the person that gave the blood, because what if somebody else with my blood type needed it? You know, that's the kind of person that I am. And here I was, I'd been on a huge spiritual journey, I'd been on a huge healing journey, and I was about to take somebody else's blood, and it freaked me out. It totally freaked me out. But I had to drop into a space of, okay, this is happening for a reason, and I need to see bigger picture. This might not be what I want on my timeline, however, this is what is destined for me, and this is going to help me help other people. The people that are like, no, the medical industry is bad. Actually, it's not. If you can look after your body and you have an accident, you need the medical industry. You know, if you break your leg, you're not just going to sit at home with a couple of pieces of wood either side of it. No, you need the medical industry. And I think this is the epiphany that I had laid in that hospital bed that night, because for those of you that haven't had a blood transfusion, it takes hours to warm the blood up so that it's at a temperature to go in your body. And then they have to do it so slowly because of the dangers. Like, it's really dangerous putting blood into the body, so they have to do it really slowly. And I sat there and I energized every single drop of blood that went into my body that night. So why am I sharing this today? I've had many people around the world reach out to me because I speak about my healing journey so openly, and I'm on so many different, like being interviewed by so many different people at the moment. I'm having so many of you reach out, and I thought, right, let's just do a video on self-healing. Now, first and foremost, all healing has to start with a decision. Number one, it has to start with a decision. Number two, you have to be honest, more honest with yourself than you've ever been in your life to figure out where this is premised from. Now, I have so many people that message me and they say, I struggle to believe that I've manifested this disease, Lucy. I struggle to believe that. However, I just want to explain this to you now, and in the hope that you really understand. I'm going to explain it from my perspective. And like I say, it's always my perspective. You know, I'm not asking you to trust me or believe me. Why don't you go do and figure it out for yourself, okay? And if you follow the steps and if you actually do the work, like, I'd love to hear your feedback. So, what happened off the back of that situation is I was laid in hospital. I was literally energizing every drop of blood. And I said to myself, you've got connected to your purpose. You've got connected to your passion. Why on earth would this be happening right now on the planet? Like, why would this be happening to you? And it wasn't like oh, why me? It was what is this about? Like, what is the lesson that I need to learn here? And it came through very, very clearly. For many, many years, I had been angry. Honestly, any of my ex-boyfriends will tell you, from when I was 16 all the way up till probably like 35, I was angry. I was angry. I really changed at the age of 35 because I had to, because I burnt out massively. So, and my whole physical body was taken from me, but that's a story for another day. But I had been angry. And the truth of the matter is, I had been angry because I had been holding on to all of this anger from all over the years. And then my body had been saying, hey, Lucy, we're going to give you a couple of digestive issues because just to let you know that you are angry. But of course, nobody explained that to me. Nobody said to me, all of your resentment, your guilt, your frustration and your angers from all over your life is going to reside in your gut. And even if they had told me, I probably would have thought they were crazy back then. Let's be honest about it. But this night I was sat in this hospital bed and I was like, okay, I truly believe I have forgiven everyone that that has hurt me. I truly believe that I have forgiven myself for everybody that I have hurt. I also believed at that point that I had had conversations with every single person that I had hurt, not intentionally, but ex-boyfriends and stuff, people that I'd not been maybe spoken to particularly well or treated them particularly well, or I let my insecurities ruin a really good situation. And it was laid in that hospital bed that night, I was like, right, okay, who is it and what is it that I need to forgive? And then it hit me literally like a lightning bolt. And there was an element of anger that I still held where my dad was concerned. Now, I'm not saying I was angry with him, and for those of you that remember me from 2 years ago, or you knew me back then, you know I was massively on my journey. I was traveling the world, I was helping people heal, I was literally living with monks, I was meditating, I was in a really awesome space, and this was like a huge plot twist. A huge plot twist, like I didn't see it coming, nobody else saw it coming. And the fundamental truth was, laid in that hospital bed that night, I actually sat there with so much empathy for my inner child. So really, when I say you need to get honest with yourself, you need to go back through the records. And I had gone back through the records all the way till I was 8 on previous occasions, and I'd been able to release all this stuff, and I'd been able to do the healing around it. I'd been able to forgive and be forgiven, which is incredible. But there was just this one little shred. And that's why it had to hit my womb. And it hit it hard. So I was laid in hospital, and after they obviously filled me back up with blood, and I'm like checking out, right, I need to go now. They actually suggested to me that I needed to have a full hysterectomy. Again, for those of you who know me, I'm not really okay with operations. So bearing in mind I've I've got pins in my hand. I've had loads of operations over the years. Again, like I say, since my healing journey started, I will avoid anything I possibly can and keep my body as intact as possible. And so it filled me full of fear. It literally filled me full of so much fear that I got on my plane on the Sunday evening and I flew to Sydney, and I immersed in nature for 3 whole weeks. I stayed with one of my friends. I immersed in nature and I literally gave myself all the peace, love, time, affection that I needed. I fasted, then I went on to juice fasting. Like literally I was doing everything that my body needed to recover. And people say, no, you need, if you get a cold, you need to feed your body. Actually, the best thing that you can do when you get sick is fast and give your body the break to be able to actually heal. I truly believe that we have the capacity to heal anything in our bodies. Okay, there are certain things that you are born with that you may not be able to heal, but I feel that anything that is grown or like dis-ease or illness can be healed. Okay, again, this is from my perspective. You do not need to shoot the messenger if this is not in alignment with your values. You do not need to listen to it, okay? So I set myself a target. When I got discharged from hospital, I called my dad and he came and picked me up, and me and him had a chat in the car on the way back. And I was just like, do you know what? I remember this conversation and I forgive you for it. Like me and my dad had become so close by that point. And we both got quite emotional about it, and we spoke about a number of other things as well, and we just, both of us got completely in alignment. Like we've all done silly things. If you're somebody out there that thinks, well, I've never done anything bad, I think you're delusional. I'm not being rude with that, but I think you're delusional. We have all impacted other people's lives. I know I upset people every single day because I talk on videos like this and I go on people's shows, and I'm really cutthroat with my truth. But like I say, it's my truth. I'm not going to dim my light to make you feel comfortable. I want to shine so bright that you think, heck, if she can do this, I can do this too. I'm not here to upset you. I'm here to awaken you to your potential. So like I say, that evening, it was a Saturday evening. I think it was the 8th of September. And I sat there at home, blubbing my eyes out, grateful as anything to be alive. But I made the decision that I was going to heal. I made the decision that that operation was not going to happen. And in this time, my mum had called me and said, Lucy, maybe you need to consider it. You've had 4 operations so far. You can't keep having this done. And I said to her, Mum, please trust me, give me 2 months. Now that's a challenging conversation to have somebody who at the time was quite asleep, very much in favour of science and the medical industry. It wasn't open to any holistic healing or any other alternative methods. And my mum is one of my best friends. I confide in my mum about everything. I love my mum more than anything. Even if we're on different vibrations, I love my mum so much. And eventually I convinced her that, okay, 2 months, unless I can, do whatever I thought I could do in 2 months, then I would have the discussion and potentially have the operation. So I got to Australia. Like I say, I was staying at one of my guy friends for 3 weeks, and I immersed in nature. I fasted, I juice fasted, I allowed my body to breathe. I walked barefoot on the ground, I sat on the sand, I went in the sea, I went in lakes. I know I shouldn't over there at the time of year that I was there, but I did because I knew that my body needed to get back to nature. It needed to heal. When I left my guy friend's house, I went to Brazil, and whilst I was in Brazil about 2 weeks later, I actually passed all of the tumours. I went to the toilet one morning and I passed all of the tumours, and I sobbed. I hadn't been bleeding, my periods had gone back to normal, but I sobbed like a baby. Because I knew that I could do it. And I know that you can do it too. We need to be clear on the energetics that are behind the ailments in our life. We need to be clear on that. Anger activates in certain parts of the body. Resentment, guilt, frustration. There's all sorts of different areas of the body. okay, that are communicating with us constantly. So if you get a headache, stop and ask yourself, what can this headache be about? If you've got a reoccurring right wrist issue, know that there are energetics around that. Okay, always bear in mind the right hand side of your body is masculine, the left hand side of your body is feminine. Okay, so it normally relates to a masculine or a feminine input, if that makes sense. Your emotional trauma, and that's the way I refer to it, is it's emotional trauma. So what I mean by that is, my dad and I had a conversation at 8 years of age, something that I'd completely forgotten about, to be honest. But at 8 years of age, my 8-year-old self took that message and concocted it somewhere low deep down in my gut. And it didn't manifest until I was dating my partner when I was 16. I met an incredible human being. And I'm sure if me and him had met at this age, we probably would have got married. We were so similar. We were absolutely incredible. But we were young. We were 16. We ended up splitting up at like 21, something like that. And the poor guy was amazing. That's not why he's a poor guy. Like, I was nasty to him. Like, he knew that I loved him more than anything, but I had this real insecurity that he was going to leave me. I had this real insecurity that, like, because he's out and about, he's doing stuff. And that was premised off of this one conversation that I had with my dad. And that's unfair. That is unfair, to project one conversation that you've had when you're 8 years of age, projecting it onto somebody else. And this is what we do as human beings, whether we recognize it or not. Whenever we feel insecure, whenever we feel angry, whenever we feel like we need to puff our chests up and say something, we step into a default of our emotional trauma from way back when. And that's how we end up getting these issues manifesting in our body. So when people say to me, are you telling me I did this intentionally? No. I'm telling you that the people that are supposed to look after us, our governments, and the people that feed the government, they've been telling us a lie for a very, very, very long time. And that is, we need medication, and we don't have the powers to self-heal, and actually we're not good enough. When the truth of the matter is, we are the most phenomenal being. We have powers beyond the belief that you will ever be able to comprehend. I am living proof of that. Living proof of that. My journey, every time I step through more and more, and I'm going to heal. I'm going to be on a healing journey till the day I go back to the other side. And I go and get reunited with my soul family. I don't think I'm anywhere near healed. And if you think that you're healed, then again, there's probably a level of delusion there. We need to start recognizing that we have been in a system that has convinced us we're not good enough, we're not thin enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not intelligent enough, we can't read well enough. Like, I'll never forget, I went and to a book thing when I was younger. I can't even think what it was, but we were basically writing books, and I was so proud of this book. Like, I was totally overwhelmed by it and in love with it. And the guy said, don't ever write a book. Hello, I've written loads. And these are the stories that we need to be showing people. Just because somebody doesn't see something in you, that's okay. They're not your vibration. You are incredible, and you have a message to deliver to this planet on this lifetime right now. But the fundamental truth is, and I don't like to use the word but, however, you have to recognize first and foremost that you are worthy. That you do have something to give to the world. It might not be stood in front of a camera like I am right now. It might be being the best nurse that you could possibly be and educating people on how to step into certain things by being the best nurse. It could be, working in the banking industry to bring the light vibration up and through the banking industry. Like, I always thought I was going to be like the top dog, and I was going to show the girls how to, be an independent woman working in investment banking. And actually, I was placed in investment banking for so many years to bring the blooming light. And then what happened was, as I had been lifting the light in the industry for such a long time, they took my physical body, so I burnt out and I had to leave. And then I had to go and find my truth, my passion and my purpose. And that's what I did. And then when I went back to the trading floor for a couple of years, just whilst I set up my businesses, that's when I helped hundreds of people. I used to run seminars once a month, every lunchtime. And there would be hundreds of people piled into these rooms. I'd talk about supplementation, I'd talk about foods that heal, I would talk about exercise, I would talk all of these different things. Like, I didn't go completely woo on them, but I did. To the point that when I actually left that job, they asked me, they paid me to go on a tour of their national offices. Like, how cool is that? So I've gone from my old world into my new world, but still in my old world. So I got the validation from an incredible worldwide company that this girl knows what she's doing. I touched thousands of staff over that period of time. So it's an incredible, incredible platform. Never look back at your past as a disaster. Your gold is hidden in that. The fact that I physically burnt out, the fact that I then had tumours, it means that I can help people. I've got the story that some people want to hear, so they can tap in to, oh my goodness, I can do this too, because if she can do it, I can do it. And that's all I'm here to do. I'm not here to say I'm better than you, I'm more of a miracle than you. Of course, this is from my perspective. But there are a few things that I would do. I would get your supplementation on point first and foremost, because our food is nutrient deficient. I've been banging on about this for years, and people go, oh, here she goes again. I'm serious with you. Your food is nutrient deficient, and there is a lot of genetically modified seeds being used. So please supplement with an incredible whole food supplement. Secondly, use things like D3 sprays, vitamin C sprays, B12 sprays. Obviously, if you need these, I think everybody should be using a vitamin C spray. Because it goes straight into your stream rather than a tablet or whatever, a spray that just goes under the tongue. And likewise, vitamin D, everybody needs sunshine, like literally 98% of the population needs sunshine. So there's a huge, that's something that I recommend to people. But obviously just be mindful with what's going on with your current health, and always ask your doctor before any of this, if you have any concerns. So, that's what I would be doing. I would be first and foremost, deciding that you want to heal, because it's not an easy journey. It's not an easy journey. I literally had to cut off everybody and everything for 6 weeks of my life so that I could get my healing done. It actually only took me 5, but I was away for 6 in total. I literally had to cut off the world. Now, my nan was dying at the time. And I was able to FaceTime her probably, 3 times in that whole period. So you can imagine that was really, really challenging. It was like a human against soul thing. It was head against heart. I really wanted to speak to my nan, but I knew, and I wanted to be at home, but I knew that I couldn't heal in the UK. I knew that I needed to be away from everything to be able to do the healing journey. So you have to be serious about healing first and foremost. Secondly, you need a level of honesty with yourself like you have never, ever, ever experienced in your life. You need to go back to the time when your dad upset you, or your mum put you down, or your mum abandoned you, or whatever the emotional traumas that's gone on in your life. You need to step into that, and you need to start recognizing, for as long as you are going to continue to be a victim, you are never going to heal. And I don't mean that from a space of anything other than love. We have been trained to be victims. It's very sad, the circumstances that you have gone through. However, we have all manifested these lessons based on the healing that we came here to do. And I know that that's a tough pill to swallow. It hurts. I get it. I really, really do get it. It's not nice recognizing that, we've had to do this stuff. However, you don't need to continue taking that story forwards. So if you're ready to put the pause button on the old emotional trauma and say, right, this is where it changes, this is how you do it. You can sign up for my 5-day breakthrough course. I'll pop a link below. It is £7.77, guys. It's so cheap. It helps people awaken over the course of 5 days as to the stories. I was going to use the BS word, but the stories that you're playing in the background. Once you have acknowledged the stories that are playing in the background, you will be able to start to recognize what conversations you need to have, who you need to forgive, like what you need to forgive in yourself, and you can start the healing journey. I recommend, like I said a short time ago, supplementation. Get on point with your supplements. Be very mindful of the things that you're putting in your body. As we are vibrating up into fifth dimensional frequency, we need to be really looking after our bodies, getting out in nature, like literally living on plants as best as we possibly can, having the right levels of water, being very mindful to remove sugars and dairies and things that do not belong in the human body. We need to just be mindful to just keep them out gently, okay? And then from there, it's about consistency. I mean, I would add in a few extra things like talking to my body. I talk to my body every day. I understand what she needs. So every single year, twice a year, I fast. I don't set timelines. I don't say when it is. My body tells me when it is. Absolutely, she communicates with me. And that is what happens when you get peaceful and you can sit in your own company and you're not always busy being around people. When you can be quiet and just sit, your body will start to talk to you. But for those of you out there that are thinking, okay, this is one step too far, or maybe, you might be thinking, I've spoken to my body and my body's not talking back to me. Look at the age that you are. If you have never spoken to your body until about now, it's going to take a little bit of time for your body to talk back to you. Like, you've ignored it your whole life. Why on earth would it talk to you now? My body now, because I've been talking to it for 7 years since it abandoned me, I just know. I'm like, okay, cool, I know exactly what I need to do because my elbow's doing this, or like whatever. I get it. I understand what it is. And that's what I wish for you guys. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to teach you as a human being how to step into all these incredible powers that you don't even know that you've got right now. Telepathy, self-healing, like vulnerability. I keep seeing orbs flying over my head, so I apologise. There are so many skills that you don't even know yet that you can do. And over the course, as I'm told, when the time is right, I'm going to be sharing them with you all. If you are interested in finding out more about the talents that lay within you, please do hit the subscribe button and also go back and watch the last video, which I'm going to put just above here, which is around 3D and 5D. I'll see you super soon in the next video.